I'm here with Scott Geary, Vice Chair at Wellington Management, and we're going to talk about wealth management. So what are your clients doing right now? You have a vision on a global market, and what are the trends among your clients now?
Yeah, well, thanks, Giorgio. Thanks for the invitation to join you. I think one of the biggest things that our clients are trying to figure out is what to do with their U.S. allocation. That everyone has been very overweight the United States, and I think that's for good reason. I'm bullish on the U.S. I think when you think about the technology innovation, you think about the resilience of the consumer, you think about the earnings power. I think that warrants being overweight the U.S. But what we are seeing our clients do is broaden out that the power of diversification, and so we are now seeing our clients keeping the overweight in the U.S., but they're now diversifying more into other regions like Japan and like Europe, which is what the conference today is about.
And what are the sectors that you see growing the most, especially in Europe?
I think in Europe, I think the big shift that we're seeing in Europe is that you're going from an efficiency-led model to more of a resilience-led model. You're going from more of an export-led model to now more of a domestic-led model. And what I mean by that is if you look at the success in the past of Europe, it was really coming almost from three different places. One was exports to both China and the U.S. Second was benefiting from cheap energy from Russia, and then also a beneficiary of the security umbrella of the United States. And all of those assumptions now are really changing. Those export markets, China demand is down, the U.S. with tariffs, et cetera, changing. If you look at the energy sector, that's no longer about price, but it's about national security. And when you think about defense, I don't think that Europe is going to be satisfied with just always outsourcing that. So these are leading to more domestic-led rebuilding of capacity in these sectors. And so when we look at, for example, energy, there's always been a good bid for renewables, and that continues, but that can ebb and flow a little bit. But now as you start to get more into national security, you're seeing much more money going into grid infrastructure, into power, into storage. And then on the defense side, you're seeing the rebuilding of capacity, so advanced manufacturing, aerospace, engineering. We're seeing some really good opportunities there. We could talk about technology as well.
Yeah, but where do we get now the money to finance that? Where does Europe is going to source the capital?
Well, I think that's an important question. It's a really interesting question, I think, because Europe doesn't lack household savings. Europe has the money. It just happens to be sitting in a lot of deposits or low return.
Not very brave capital.
Exactly. And I think that there's a lot of initiatives that are happening to put that money more into unlock and put into more innovative areas. And I think that I think it's an interesting region in that there is both a capital shortage and a saving surplus. And the challenge is putting those two things together. And I think that that's where asset managers, asset owners will really play a bigger role. The interesting thing, though, when you look at the asset management industry is that there's also, and Europe has some great asset managers, it's under tremendous dynamism itself. I would argue that the pace of change inside the asset management industry is as extraordinary as it's ever been. It's on the client side, it's on the product side. On the client side, the wealth and retail is rising up as a greater source of capital. And so asset managers are targeting that more. Or then on the product side, there's new products that you need for that client evolution. So it's more ETFs, active ETFs. It's the rise of the private markets. It's public and private products, which we're involved with Blackstone and Vanguard. So there's a lot going on in the asset management industry to try to help solve that challenge.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott Geary.
Thank you, Giorgio.